Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome to my channel. I'm Shimere, and today I'm going to be giving you 2 tips on how you can get jobs in the medical field. If you want to get into the medical field right now, but let's say you don't have time to go back to school, or you simply just don't want to go back to school right now. These are 2 jobs that you can do without having to actually go to school for them. Okay, so the first one is as a dialysis tech. When I first finished medical assistant school, I was hired as a dialysis tech. They actually provide you with on-the-job training when you become a dialysis tech. So if I'm not mistaken, I want to say it was something like 12 weeks or something, right? So I get this job as a dialysis tech. I get to training and I start talking to people who, are in my training class, and we're getting to know each other. And then I started to realize, I was like, wait, hold up. I was thinking that everybody was either like me, had just finished like medical assistant school, or maybe they were like CNAs or LPNs and people who just were deciding to work as a dialysis tech now. You guys, I was so surprised by how many people were like, oh, I just left my retail job, or I just left a job in the food industry. And like, so many of them had no medical experience at all. This was going to be their first introduction into the medical field. So I was like, okay. And at first I kind of felt like, dang, I just went to school for months to become a medical assistant, and I could have got this job without even going to school. So it was shocking to me. But at the same time, this position allows you to be able to do that because, like I said, I think the training was about 12 weeks. And honestly, you guys, it was so thorough and in-depth. And, you had to take tests and everything just like you were in school. It was basically like on the job school. So you are definitely able to get your foot in the door without going back to a actual medical school or medical classes. And the training, like I said, was extensive, and the only difference is going to be this. For the company that I worked for, which was Fresenius, I did receive a different rate of pay while I was taking the training classes versus once I finished them and I actually started the position. But hey, if you're, like I said, someone who wants to get into the medical field and wants to do something medical right now, and you might not have time to go back to school right now, that is definitely an option. So definitely look up, see what type of companies, dialysis companies are in your area, and you might want to apply for them. Like I said, I worked for Fresenius. There's also a company called DaVita, and I'm sure there are quite a few more, just depending on what area you're in. The only thing I will say is if you want a position like that, definitely make sure that you're not squeamish around blood or anything like that, because you guys, honestly, I didn't even know what dialysis really was. So it was kind of a shock when I went on the interview and I see all these people hooked up to these machines and their blood's just circulating all over the place, okay? So you definitely have to at least be willing to see blood and maybe deal with it, okay? If you want to go that route. And the second job that you can get in the medical field without actually having to go back to school is a medical assistant job. Now, I know you guys are probably like, wait, didn't she just say she went to medical assistant school and it took months and all of that? And yes, that's true. But once again, I found throughout my work experience, when I would get to another office, or, I go to somewhere else to work, I would always come across people who were medical assistants who hadn't actually been to a medical assistant school. So I'd be like, oh, hey, especially when I was new, it'd be like, hey, what school did you go for, your MA class or whatever? And there'd be people who'd be like, oh, I didn't go to school to be a medical assistant. I got trained on the job. So I was like, once again, oh my gosh, like I could have had this job and I went to school for it. But anyway, yeah, so that's a thing. It usually is in smaller doctor's offices, usually in offices where there may be like 1 to like 3 physicians or something like that. And they're willing to train you on the job and show you what you need to do to be their medical assistant, because a lot of doctors, you will find, you know, if you become a medical assistant, they want their medical assistants to do certain things. You're not always going to do everything that you learn in medical assistant school. So some offices, they don't want their MA drawing blood, or they may have an outside company that has like a lab tech set up to draw the blood. So they might be willing to just train you on the job for the things that they want you to do, or the things that their medical assistant is actually required to do. So yes, you can definitely check at smaller offices to see if they're willing to do on-the-job training for their medical assistants. And another way is to simply, if you see a position that is for something like a receptionist or front office person, front office worker in a medical office, all you have to do is apply for that job, or even if you just get that job, you know, let them know like, hey, I'm interested in becoming a medical assistant. Would you guys give me some like on-the-job training for that? Now, of course, if you've already gotten the position as their receptionist or their secretary or whatever it is, you know, just tell them that you're willing to work around the schedule to get some on-the-job training to become the medical assistant. So, because a lot of the times in certain offices, you know, the front desk person might not be making as much as a medical assistant. So if you can talk to them and be like, hey, let's say your office closes early on Fridays and it's usually slow on Fridays. If there's someone else who's in the office who answers the phone and stuff too, maybe you could be like, look, on Fridays, I love to job shadow. Can you guys start slowly showing me what the responsibilities of the medical assistant are? Can you start showing me and let me practice doing some blood pressures and things like that? And you guys, honestly, you will be surprised how many places would be willing to train a front office staff on how to be a medical assistant. And it's mainly because, you know, it's always great for them if you're the person who's answering the phone or scheduling appointments. If an MA calls in for the day and they have multiple people doing that job, like, or even if it's just you, they at least will feel more secure knowing that, hey, if somebody calls in, we can pull you from the front and have you room a patient if we need to, or anything like that to help out. So those are just 2 ways that you can get into the medical field without having to go back to school. So if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. Make sure you hit that like button, comment, subscribe to my channel, and let me know if you guys want to know some other positions and other jobs that you can get in the medical field without having to actually go back to school right now. All right, you guys, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.